Did you know Jesus gave a formula for forgiving others? How many times do you have to forgive someone? Jesus said, forgive a lot. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from Matthew 18:21 through 22, and we'll be reading from the New English Translation. Verse 21, Then Peter came to him and said, Lord, how many times must I forgive my brother who sins against me? As many as 7 times? Jesus said to him, Not 7 times, but I tell you, 77 times. Now, in context here, in Matthew 18, Jesus had just given what I like to call the forgiveness formula. It was a recipe for how to deal with conflict among believers. And like with any recipe, if you don't follow the instructions, if you don't follow the steps, you'll get different results. And there are 3 steps that Jesus gives here. First, you're supposed to go to that person who has offended you or done wrong in person. Second, you're to take 1 or 2 with you. And then third, bring it to the church. But most conflict that we deal with, especially in our culture, isn't resolved, especially among Christians, which is crazy. Well, why? Well, we don't follow the formula that Jesus gave. Much like Peter, who was looking for an out, we ask, well, how many times do we have to go through this? And Jesus said 77 times, or in some instances, this could be translated 70 times 7. But it was kind of an idiom that means an unlimited number of times. That's why the soundbite says Jesus said, forgive a lot. And Peter was saying, well, like, when can I give up? When is it okay to not forgive? When can I be angry? Many times we want to justify our anger and call it righteous indignation, but the Bible's very clear. James 1:20 says that for human anger does not accomplish God's righteousness. Let's read that again. Human anger does not accomplish God's righteousness. Now that's pretty specific, and there's no righteous indignation exception clause. Anger is not a fruit of the Spirit. Paul in Romans 12 goes into detail about what God's righteousness looks like as we respond to evil or to conflict. Romans 12:17, do not repay anyone evil for evil. Get that? Don't repay anyone evil for evil. Consider what is good before all people. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all people. Do not avenge yourselves, dear friends, but give place to God's wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. And the end of that verse 19 is a quote from Deuteronomy 32:5. Going on, Romans 12, verse 20, where he says, rather, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him a drink. For in doing this, you will be heaping burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Forgiveness isn't giving up or letting someone off the hook. Forgiveness is not about the person you're forgiving. Forgiveness is where our peace and joy can be found. If we let God do His job, He is much better at dealing with conflict. He is much better at dealing with those that we feel are wrong. Our job is to follow the forgiveness formula that Jesus gave us in Matthew 18, and then rinse and repeat. How many times? 77, 7 times 7. The point here is we need to let it go and let God handle it. Jesus said, forgive a lot. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really does mean a lot to me when you like it, and you share it, and you comment. I really appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.